So I get introduced to people and they find out I'm a celebrity portrait photographer. Invariably, they ask if I photographed the Queen. And what happens is I have to watch their face drop when I explain that I have photographed some royals. Key among them is Fergie. But I did get an amazing shoot.
Okay, so I don't really know that much about Fergie.
She's a posho. So Prince Charles married Princess Diana, who was probably more of an aristocrat, more blue-blooded than he was, apparently.
How is that possible?
I think her family was more English, more going back generations. Fergie, she came after Princess Diana.
So was she famous beforehand? I know like Meghan Markle was an actor.
No. She was, I think she was posh. She obviously ticked the right boxes. And Prince Andrew needed to get married. He was sort of rampaging through the London womanhood. He was clearly, he was known as Randy Andy, and he kind of, he kind of had this reputation as a ladies' man.
Right.
And back then, he was quite nice looking, so he kind of, for the royals, he was the poster boy. He went out with this actress called Koo Stark,
right,
who was sort of very sexy and everything. And he was kind of, getting to the point where he had to sort of get married, get settled down. He'd been a helicopter pilot in the Royal Navy, I think, right. And he'd been in the Falklands War, and everyone was very well disposed towards him. So when he found Fergie, who was very jolly hockey sticks and, fun, a bit of a laugh, it seemed like a kind of marriage made in heaven.
Going on to Fergie, shooting her, what year was it? It
was 2001.
Okay.
What was weird about it was the world had just shifted hugely. 9/11 had just happened a week before. Everything changed after that. It's impossible. When you were born, you were a baby at that point, but it sort of put everything under a different light. So it kind of cast this huge shadow. So you turn up at a shoot and the first 10, 15 minutes you'd be talking about that. It's a bit like the pandemic.
Who was it shot for?
It was shot for InStyle, which is a sort of fashion magazine. I don't know if it still exists. And it was a good commission. I remember they had 2 stylists because the focus was sort of on celebrity, but also fashion. And so it was all about kind of getting a nice portrait, but also a kind of fashion shoot at the same time.
So maybe you get paid a little bit more than your usual rate?
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember what I got paid, but it would have been more than 500 a day, which is good for an editorial rate. It might have been much more than that. I honestly can't remember.
Okay.
But it was an opportunity to photograph someone, that you could then syndicate the pictures. You own the copyright of the pictures. And that is what happened. So we arrived at the studio in Putney, Fulham, that sort of area, West London. She was very West London. It was a beautiful studio. It was a massive space, a great location to do a portrait. And it had a sort of area outside that was quite private that you could use. So everything was, all systems go. As I said, the thing that kind of meant that everyone wasn't really on their game was the fact that 9/11 had just happened and we were sort of all a bit shell-shocked. So we weren't thinking about, the humdrum day-to-day prosaic things, like ensuring your client doesn't get taken advantage of by the photographer. You're seeing the bigger picture. You're just sort of like, actually, all bets are off. Is my family safe? It broke down barriers.
So from your self-admission there, it sounded as if you took advantage of the subject.
Well, with the benefit of hindsight, I probably did. I would have. So shall I tell the story?
Yeah, please.
I mean, basically, there were 2 rails of clothing, amazing clothes, and she was really nice. And I remember I commented she had really great legs and she was really flattered. And I said, you
couldn't do that now.
No, maybe you wouldn't do that now. I don't think she'd have a problem, though. I mean, a nice comment. Well,
I know you probably meant it complimentary.
Yeah, I did it. I didn't do it in a leery way.
Sleazy photographer.
Yeah. I'm not that guy. I couldn't be that guy if I wanted to be that guy. So basically, there was one item of clothing that stood out. and it was just absolutely, it was so extravagant and over the top. It was this pink Christian Lacroix silk coat, and it had a mink ermine fur collar. It was extraordinary. And I commented on it, and the stylist told me it cost $65,000. And I just sort of, the idea popped into my head. So I suggested that wouldn't it be a great idea if she could wear this coat, but nothing on underneath? Because it would just be nice and simple. The coat, you don't need any more clothes. I mean, the coat was extraordinary. But then it had all these sort of sexy connotations because of like a booty call, going out with a coat and then nothing. And to my astonishment, and I do put it down to a change in the kind of atmosphere, the shift, everyone thought, yeah, why not?
That's crazy. A royal family member.
Yeah. And so I shot her inside wearing this coat. And then the beauty part was I got her outside in the area. There's a little lane next to the studio. And there was even a kind of like cross on the wall. And it kind of referenced kind of Dickensian London and the back streets, of Jack the Ripper and things like that, of like a prostitute. And so she's standing in this lane wearing this coat. And I'm getting really excited. I'm not hiding my enthusiasm. I sort of said to everyone, I was saying, this is fantastic. You look like a hooker.
At least you're being honest.
I said, you look like a prostitute. And then it was around the time the previous decade had been heroin chic. So I said, this could be a new thing. This could be prostitute chic. I mean, when you're a photographer, you just say the first thing that comes into your head. You're completely kind of you don't have appropriate boundaries. You're just kind of being verbose. And I mean, I look back and it was ridiculous, but everyone was just nodding along because of, as I said, this new reality. Everyone was just thinking, yeah, she does look like a prostitute. It was crazy,
Yeah.
but it was a brilliant photograph. I mean, I do think it's a really good picture, and I think she looks kind of stoic, and she looks in on it. I think she looks sort of beautiful, and it's a very iconic picture. So after I got that picture, I was buzzing, the adrenaline, because you've got something good. And I shot it on my 6.9 rangefinder, a really big negative, good quality.
For
outside.
sure this posh lady's never had a picture like this taken of her.
Yeah, and it's gonna get some attention. And after that, I did get a lot of commissions from InStyle magazine. I remember doing All Saints and various actors.
All Saints, what, the fashion brand?
No, All Saints were like another equivalent of the Spice Girls,
okay.
with Melanie Blatt and the Appleton sisters, one of whom went out with Liam Gallagher.
Gotcha.
I think had a child with Liam Gallagher. So I got lots of opportunities as a result of this shoot, because it did get a lot of attention. So we went back into the studio, and then I went through the full repertoire. I had her all day. So we were talking earlier about why I get people to wink. So I got her winking. There's a really lovely shot, black and white shot of her winking towards the camera.
Yeah, future video there. We've had a few comments asking about
conspiracy.
Illuminati. Why do you get these celebrities to wink? Are you part of the Illuminati?
The answer to that is I'm not part of the Illuminati. But then if I was, would I tell you?
Yeah.
The answer to that actually is it's a cheap trick.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you have 10 minutes with Martin Scorsese, why not get him winking?
Big eyebrows,
Absolutely.
asymmetry.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Scorsese, I don't know if we've announced this, but my picture has been used for the Apple documentary.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
Another example of how important it is to retain the copyright of your pictures. Anyway, having done the shoot, we packed up, and we headed on our merry way.
You must be grinning.
I was quite astonished that she let me take the pictures, but I wasn't surprised that in the days that followed, we got a letter at my agency. I think it was from the Palace. If I can find it, we'll put it up. I probably won't be able to find it.
That'd be amazing.
I think I sort of screwed it up in front of Tara in it as a joke, as if I have scant regard for what the Palace think. But the letter said something along the lines of, "We all know how uncomfortable the Duchess was with certain scenarios that we photographed on the day of the shoot. We'd be grateful if those pictures weren't used anywhere." And when the In Style piece came out, the pictures wearing the pink coat were nowhere to be seen.
Oh.
And then Hello magazine saw the pictures, and I got a big Brucey bonus. They basically, we syndicated the pictures to Hello. I mean, it was at least £5,000, so
Yeah.
it was good money.
Solid.
Yeah. But I looked in the Hello magazine, and the picture I really liked wasn't there either. So I was a bit browned off, actually, that they'd sort of managed to sort of, what's the word where you sort of blacklist it, sort of shadow ban.
Shadow ban. That's
Yeah,
YouTube.
they'd kind of like somehow managed to actually censor what was actually a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And so, as luck would have it, later that year, because I'd been very successful at getting pictures in the National Portrait Gallery in the portrait competition, they had a special exhibition of people that had more than one picture in the prize, and we were asked to nominate a photograph. We could put in whatever we wanted into this side annex exhibition, and so you can guess which picture I'd nominated. So I put my picture in the National Portrait Gallery of Sarah Ferguson.
It's in there now.
Well, I don't know if it was in this exhibition.
Okay,
It was
so
in
you don't know
this.
if it's in the permanent collection.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure, actually. It's a controversial picture. But what I would point out is there are worse pictures of her around. I mean, before I photographed her, she was photographed by paparazzi having her toes sucked. So let's get some sense of perspective. Yeah. I would say also that when this is what I said at the time, and I do believe this, and it's actually coming to pass. When she's sort of 70, 80, she'll look back on that picture, and even though she looks like a prostitute, she looks like a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And it's a moment in time,
100%.
It's a piece of artifice. She's clearly not a prostitute. So.
Yeah. And so you said the Palace messaged you and said, or sent a letter to you and said that she was uncomfortable during the shoot. Did you find that she was?
No, no one was uncomfortable. Everyone was going along with
having a good time.
Yeah, it was actually a really comprehensive and beautiful shoot.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for her, because I think what's happened, with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein is she's not a remarkable person, but she got drawn into the kind of maelstrom of the royal family. And she's been just pulled along in this kind of current, and these issues are huge and scary. And he who is without sin should cast the first stone. We've all got our foibles. I think she's clearly been greedy and self-serving, but the kind of opprobrium that is heaped on her seems disproportionate, because I don't know, there's not much evidence tying her to Jeffrey Epstein. Plenty with Prince Andrew, but I don't know whether, I think she's just basically tried to get some money off Epstein. Yeah. But
print drop of this, if anyone wants a print, let Dad know. I don't think we'll put it on the website.
I don't think we'll put it on the website, but we'll go along with the wishes of the palace belatedly.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.